Good morning, parents and supervisors.
Hello, I'm David Hurley, the 38th Governor of New South Wales. The office of Governor reaches back to Captain Arthur Phillip in 1788. This continuity echoes another great Australian institution, the School of the Air. My time with the School of Air students confirms the survival of classic Australian traits we value: resilience, independence, stoicism, larrikinism, even the defiance of authority, as you'll see.
Hello, my name is Dirk and this is my family.
Hi, I'm Harry James Herman and I'm school captain of School of the Air Broken Hill.
I guess School of the Air gave us a great outlet as kids to the outside world.
The connections and genuine engagement you have with those families, other schools would die for.
Probably the advantage was that it was a bigger family.
It is a family thing, and it brings everybody together.
But it was the wildest time of our lives. There'd be 174 kids would call in to say good morning to you.
We're probably the three most perfect students.
So if one was missing, you wouldn't be able to there could have been 20 missing and we wouldn't know.
And we were treated like family. It was a good place to teach.
And they know that there's hard times and there's good times and you've got to be resilient.
Oh, I didn't know any different. I grew up doing all my schooling through School of the Air.
We were obviously trying to set a high standard.
But there's something unique about this school that regular school teaching just doesn't even touch.
If we could only get, a little bit better than the radio system. Sorry about that.
Mum sat me down and said, righto, we've got a new school for you and it starts next week. 10 o'clock in the morning you've got to come in and go on School of the Air. That was basically the start of it.
The Broken Hill Control Station for the Royal Flying Doctor Service, VJC, VJC3 Broken Hill. We're crossing out to school.
It was still a battle with the social thing. Like we tried our best, but the children, let's face it, they were still isolated.
It's a challenge for the families as well because they can't send their boys and girls off to school each day as a traditional school would.
And you've got to drive 400 kilometres on dirt roads and in the middle of nowhere.
It wasn't a lonely life out there, it was just there wasn't anyone else.
Some of them were, 50, 100 kilometres away from their neighbours or their peers, or they didn't really see their peers, and the School of the Air connected them via radio.
It has one head on it.
And also with the other programs that we had, like mini schools, where the children came in to meet other children in a certain area.
I just remember Mum and Dad packing us up and travelling across the countryside, going to mini schools and sports days, and just like we do now.
That brought the outback much, much closer.
I could see that those kids out there loved where they were living. These kids are loving life. Why do they need to go into town to go to school? Why should they have to leave their home?
I think with School of the Air, back in those days, it was something totally new concept, and we're the first kids involved, and you get on the radio and you'd be fiddling with the radio trying to get that scratchiness away so you could talk to your teacher and do all those sort of things.
Good morning, girls and boys. Good morning, parents and supervisors.
Children who don't see each other or their teacher. Linked by radio.
They didn't have a picture. The teacher couldn't show them an example.
Gee, if we can only get, the kids on computers and we can, have video cams going back to the school, we thought, no, that would be, the duck's guts.
It's creating a virtual classroom. It's not only a voice at the end of the radio, it's a face.
And it can have a video component of the teacher.
Do you have a worm farm?
No, we don't have a worm farm. That's a good question. We're developing a vegetable garden at Government House, which we haven't had for a long, long time. And I think if we get the vegetable garden up and running, then it's a good time to have a worm farm as well.
The students get to see the other students.
When we're all apart and we don't see our friends' faces, when we finally do, it's just totally awesome.
I really like it because it's different to a lot of other schools.
Enabled kids from Walgett to associate with kids from Wentworth and Ivanhoe and Tippaborough.
The voice on the radio became a person. Oh, you're him.
I don't think I'd be able to homeschool without a structured system and the support that School of the Air gives us.
It is different, We obviously don't have the kids face to face.
It was just an exciting challenge.
My children are far luckier than I was.
We want them to go out there where they're able to thrive.
Dad's going to fly in and we're going to drive in, over.
So those personal connections and relationships are what's going to be the glue that holds our school together.
We're a big part of the children's families. We're regarded as a special person in their lives.
I just couldn't believe the parents were so grateful that we'd come all that way just to do a little bit of music with their kids.
No school to bring them together. There was nothing to bring any of the bush kids together. And then when School of the Air started, there were Christmas parties, there were sports days, there were get-togethers, and it made a world of difference.
Our kids, they don't see their friends a lot, but when they get together, they have an absolute ball, so it's fantastic.
I think that it gives them strength and courage.
Sense of belonging.
I think once you've been part of School of the Air, you're part of that school community forever.
I think I've met a couple of people here today who I would have considered to be my good friends when I was 7 or 8 years old, and I've never met them before.
It's 30 years since I finished at School of the Air. I'm still in contact with kids and parents from School of the Air.
You never lose that connection to the school, the students, the staff, our community.
So School of the Air definitely isn't possible without the tech support.
In 2003, the parents didn't even know how to use a computer.
I think that, we're quite lucky we get to stay here and do what we do, and they're on the road travelling through numerous towns. Even the conditions of those roads that they'd be travelling on.
I'd spent 10 years solid 12-hour shifts behind the steering wheel.
Thousands of hours alone, driving or camping out.
Not having that home environment to come home to each night.
Away from their friends, away from their family, away from their wives, away from their social life.
I think that's a huge sacrifice that they make.
It was a risky game.
The reason that I've had a governess for my children's schooling is because I want someone who can educate them better than myself.
They share that responsibility of educating their children at home with the school.
And we all know that it's very, very hard work for the Govies.
I was actually really fortunate because I was, from the start, was part of their family.
They're taking up a new life and they make new friends.
And we had a role at your wedding, so...
And our governess has always become a part of our family.
And that's the special role that a governess holds in everybody's life, so...
But there's definitely sacrifices.
We still love one another.
And some of the Govies have really been treated very harshly by some of the children trying to resist going to school.
Oh, of course, we hated it with a passion.
I didn't like it.
But I think the biggest thrill out of school there, we both probably got out of it, was governesses.
Trying to get away from them.
Like all station kids, we'd much rather be out in the mustering camp.
When the school bell rang, we'd go and hide.
And he put some roofing nails under her tyre before she was about to take off for the weekend, so...
She just disappears somewhere into the 90,000 acres and I have to find her.
We eventually conned Vivian to come for a ride with us to get a couple of roos for the pigs, and ended up about 6 miles from the house just on dark, and told her it was her turn to get out and put the roo in the back for the pigs, and as soon as she got out of the car we shot through and went home.
Left her there. Didn't we get into strife when we got home?
It's dangerous work sometimes.
Where's Vivian? We lost her out in the paddock, Dad.
That little hint of cheekiness, but there's still that respect.
So I guess in hindsight I should have known what I was in for.
They get used to them. You've got to come up with new ones all the time to keep them interested.
Definitely come out with stickability, I guess.
You knew exactly what your children are being taught. They are so articulate and they're so, in a way, mature for their years.
They're getting more of a growth mindset.
They learn so much from each other.
They're happier talking to an adult than a child of their own age.
We didn't ever have discipline problems with children from the School of the Air.
Always come with a smile, they come with that can-do attitude, and they're willing to give anything a go.
The kids, when we went down to boarding school, all the bushy kids just stood out.
We don't miss out on anything, really.
We have really special, unique kids that we wouldn't trade in the world for.
They're all good qualities to take off into the world when you grow up, I think.
I left school when I was 13 and a half and went straight out into the workforce on the station.
Making medicine for animals. Vet. A station owner. Opera singer in Australia. Olympic gymnast, an archaeologist, drone pilot.
And then you layer on top the bond that you have with the kids and the families and the distance, it all just comes together.
In our later life, it taught us how to get on and, front different situations and how to get out of it with bursting into tears all the time and going and doing good things and having a bit of fun, which we've done for the rest of our lives as well anyway.
I guess School of the Air gave us a great outlet as kids to the outside world.
It changed your life.
Pros definitely outweigh the cons, yes.
I'd love to do School of the Air again.
There is something about the culture of this school, and particularly this school, the School of the Air, that's brought families back who were here in 1956.
Words can't really describe this place. I think once you've been part of School of the Air, you're part of that school community forever.
Some of those families are 5 generations on the same property, and the children, they've got their grandchildren now in distance education here. There's a strong sense of family. The teachers and the parents, they become friends. The teachers become part of the family. They're all connected through the school, and so there's a very, very strong connection by everybody to this place. And it's impressive that so many people feel that they belong here and that the school belongs to them.
I think that there are many heroes in the whole story of School of the Air. So many people play their part, whether it's the teachers, the governesses, the techies. It's everybody works together in delivering what I think is quality education for our kids. And it's not just one person or one team that delivers that. It's a whole group.
An example of an insect, please, Gabriel.
We're right at the forefront of it.
Making it.
Highlight of my life.
It's a great thing that they've done.
Never heard of locusts?
All those kids out there make something of themselves. I don't see any failures. I can't think of any, and I've seen a few kids go through it.
Well, it's good because as soon as you've done all your school, you can go out and do something, whereas if you're doing school in a city and you have to go to school, you have to take your case home and do all your homework, and you probably have to do jobs then.
We have 4 hour lessons a week. I could have 5 if I wanted to, but I don't want to learn recorder. And we have to charge the battery up or it will get flat and it won't work.